looking forward to the challenge.
Well, good luck, Stanford, and let us know how that goes.
All right, let's take a look at the lineups. Rhode Island will have their leading scorer, Jared Terrell, a senior from Weymouth, Massachusetts, at the very top of their scoring charts. We've already talked about Bagley. Wendell Carter Jr., another outstanding freshman. He is from Atlanta. Our officials today with 25 combined years of experience: Chris Rasvetter, Bill Covington, Tony Giazza, and away we go in our second game from Pittsburgh today.
Coach K told me yesterday at practice the 3 keys he's putting up on the board: energy, talk on the defensive end in that zone, and rebound the basketball. They got to use their size and will themselves in the middle.
And Rhode Island's got to be able to create some turnovers, and they just did it. Your guy, Stanford Robinson. And I'll tell you, Reggie, if a bubbly personality has anything to do with it, Stanford Robinson's in business, because there's no more bubblier personality in this tournament.
Robinson was going inside that time to Jeff Doughton, and out of bounds it goes. The shot clock is at 12. Rhode Island is 26-7. Duke 27-7. And to Matthews, a senior from Detroit. Grayson Allen is on him into that zone. They looked up. Matthews, he'll put up a 3.
We saw that versus Oklahoma in overtime.
He's not a high percentage three-point shooter as Matthews, Reggie, but he makes big shots, and that was a big one here to start this game.
And something to watch in this game as it goes on. Trevon Duval, they're going to go under every ball screen with him.
Carter will hammer it home, and he was not touched. This is Terrell the other way, averages 17 a game. Robinson, Doughton. He'll drive right into Carter. Andre Berry's got the ball. Guy travel.
Got caught up in the air on that offensive rebounding. Thought about going back up.
Here's a look at the A-10 Coach of the Year, Dan Hurley. He is the younger brother of Arizona State coach Bobby Hurley and the son of Hall of Fame high school coach Bob Hurley.
They're going to go under every ball and screen here. This might be 10 seconds here. Yeah, good defensive pressure there by Doughton.
Looks like Mike Krzyzewski is going to keep the ball for a minute.
Hall of Fame coach Mike Krzyzewski. He was saying, was it off of Doughton?
Well, no one touched it. He just lost the basketball.
Mike Krzyzewski in his 38th year as the coach at Duke.
You've got to get this zone moving in and out and side to side. You cannot allow Duke to establish themselves in easy positions.
Well, how do you attack this zone? You've got to get the ball to Berry at that free throw line area.
Doughton to Berry. Got it. That was a goaltend.
Well, this might be a tough game for Berry because he is a totally below the rim kind of player, and he's out there going against guys who are might not be as bulky as he is, but they are much taller, much more agile.
I mean, he is getting dwarfed by Carter down low.
Switch. Quick outlet. Take it the other way. Flying in E.C. Matthews.
What a start here if you're Dan Hurley and the Rhode Island Rams.
Well, that's what you want to do. Make Duke take tough shots and then rebound the ball and get out and go.
Duval with a floater. Carter couldn't get it. Out of the pad comes Matthews. And Rhode Island the other way.
And Kevin, that's part of the game plan for the Rams. They want Duval to beat them offensively. They are going to double every single time Bagley gets the ball down low off of Duval's man.
Duke in the tournament for the 23rd consecutive season. Trent with a 3.
They can't lose him. No. He's a 42% three-point shooter.
He's a sharpshooter, you're right. Quickly smothered Terrell.
But the thing you can't do when you're playing Duke is get discouraged. They're going to go on runs. They're going to make shots. You have to keep playing and keep battling.
Doughton. Terrell. Carter.
See, I think that's the guy who's got to have a big game today because he's somebody who can score in the middle of that zone. Gary Trent Jr. will drive. Duval launches a 3.
It's picked up by Andre Berry.
Well, that is a great block out by Berry. He said he's a below-the-rim guy, but he is a 275-pound below-the-rim guy.
They need his size, absolutely, and his growth. Trying to take up space down low to get those rebounds.
That team doesn't. Robinson inside. Here comes Berry. Dalton, the sophomore. Nice fake to go get the two-point shot.
That was great patience. He's in the middle of a crowd. Guys are jumping at him, and he just takes his time. He scores an easy basket, or a basket that he made look easy.
Duke last season lost in the
foul. Moving screen there by Wendell Carter Jr.
9-5, Rhode Island up by 4.
Rhode Island luck and also Buffalo luck, referencing coaches, his brother, and of course Buffalo's coach right now, the program that he left behind to go to Arizona State.
Well, Dan was saying yesterday, he remembers Bob's first meeting with Coach K. Coach K flew back to New Jersey with Bobby after the visit, and how comfortable Coach K made the entire Hurley family. Especially when you've got a dad of those Hurley brothers who is a revered high school coach. That is a three-point try. It is no good by Matthews. Delarier is checked in. The other way, Bagley. And surrounded by dark blue. To Carter, who's not surrounded by anybody.
How about the presence of mind? Almost falling out of bounds was Bagley to find Carter trailing the play, Dan.
Reggie, that was very impressive because he was able to get stopped. I don't know how he did that, and then had the patience to wait for Carter.
That's part of the being able, that elite runner as Berry misses at the rim. And Coach K calling Marvin Bagley an elite runner. Well, in the same vein as LeBron James.
Bagley with an offensive foul. Taking it down low, Stanford Robinson.
Well, there's Robinson. That's a nice job getting in position. Now, not only Reggie on this play is an elite runner, but he's an elite stopper. And he gets stopped, and then the ball goes right to Wendell Carter Jr. But your guy, Stanford Robinson, on the very next play, takes the charge.
He told me yesterday at practice, I am looking forward to the challenge of going against this young freshman phenom. I know all the hype that surrounded him.
Matthews is that. Jarris Garrett is just checked in. Jarris Garrett has the ball.
Ball's got to go into the middle of this zone.
Which he does right there. Duck finding Berry down low off that baseline.
Yeah, but the length of Carter affected the shot by Berry.
See, Berry's just got to take the ball up. The last couple shots he's taken, he looks like he's worried about getting his shot blocked. Go!
Look how Carter went down, slipped on that knee.
Carter into Berry.
Oh, what a move.
What a nice dive by the big man.
How about the up and under here?
How about how smart Carter is? He bangs into him. He knows he can't go through him, so he goes around.
I mean, this is a Kevin McHale move right here. Up and under, swing through, get all the way to the rim.
Carter, a 73% free throw shooter. Leads the Devils in blocked shots. Had 9 points, 8 rebounds against Iona on Thursday.
I asked Coach K yesterday about Carter and his development. He says he is one of the smartest players that he's ever coached. The problem that he faced when he came to Duke was he always played with his back to the basket in AAU basketball in high school. He never played facing the basketball, and that's been the biggest challenge when him and Bagley are on the floor together.
Marquise Bolden is checked in, a sophomore from DeSoto, Texas, for the Devils. Garrett. Robinson and Dalton.
The ball doesn't have to go in there just with a pass. It can go in on the dribble, but you've got to get that defense to collapse.
Bagley is on Dalton. Shot clock is down to 8. And there's a steal by Grayson Allen. Saves the ball. Loose on the floor. Diving for it. It's picked up by Robinson. 2 to fire. Dalton with the 2. No. Trent there to grab the ball for Duke.
Fantastic hustle there by Grayson Allen. Almost came up with that steal.
Delarier. Bagley. Knocked away. There was a foul. It was on top. It was on Terrell.
Well, Grayson Allen is a guy who's noted for his three-point shooting, but he has done a great job for the Blue Devils this year, doing all the dirty work, doing all the little things that really help a team. Mike Krzyzewski told us that Grayson Allen has developed his leadership role and his leadership skills.
Terrell checks out. Matthews back in for Rhode Island.
Look at the talking that's kind of going on here.
We're laughing because away from that shot was Doughton being separated from Trent. Grayson Allen. Rebound Bolden. Saves it for Duke. Here comes Trent.
And Javon couldn't come up with that defensive rebound. Now you're seeing the size here of Duke paying off here on the offensive rebounds.
So Langevin comes in. Outside it goes. With a move, Delarier.
That's easy. The easy call there, and nice decision there by Langevin to rotate over and take that charge.
Delarier picks up his first.
Delarier trying to drive the ball to the basket, but Langevin just steps in and is standing there waiting for him. Lots of times charges are bang-bang plays, Reggie, but you're right about that one, no question. That was an easy one. Now, of course, Mike Krzyzewski may not see it that way, but
last season in the NCAAs for Duke, they lost in the round of 32 to South Carolina by 7.
How can they get internally into the middle of this zone to collapse it? Look at the length. Look at the length on the perimeter here by Duke.
Matthews will chisel. Garrett. Inside. Langevin and a foul.
Delarier on the shot block attempt. It looks like he came up with the foul there on the rotation over.
I think it was Bolden they gave it to. It was. Bolden picks up his first for Duke.
And that's what I mean, Reggie. When you get the ball in there, if your barrier, in this case Langevin, take it to the basket.
Yeah. Langevin at the line. Born in Guyana. 3-star prospect. Played at the Patrick School from East Orange, New Jersey. Stream live 24/7 highlights, scores, and news. Free across all your connected devices with CBS Sports HQ. Check it out now at CBSSportsHQ.com.
And Kevin and Dan, every time Rhode Island has an opportunity to get easy points, they have to take advantage of them. And number one, you've got to make your free throws. It's going to be challenging enough to score on this zone, but when you go 0 for 2 from the free throw line, it's very difficult to beat Duke.
Duval.
Langevin only a 50% free throw shooter.
Hold it. Russell is in there reaching. Just came off the bench and checked in. Darren Russell, nicknamed Fats, freshman from Philadelphia. He likes to be called Fats. There's Minnesota Fats, then there's this guy. Trent free to fire from 3.
Nice box out there.
And this is the versatility of Rhode Island. Robinson blocks out, then he gets the ball, gets the rebound, and pushes it up the court. And as a result, they get a transition basket.
Matthews, the second leading scorer across the lane. He averages 13. He is 3 of 4 to start things off for the Rams.
How about the pressure here by Fats Russell? We saw this versus Trae Young on Thursday.
Russell does a great job moving his feet and really pestering the offensive ball handler.
He changes the complexion of the game because of his defense.
Rhode Island leads by 1. We've got 8 minutes gone in this first half from Pittsburgh on CBS. Of Dan Hurley and his 10th seeded Rams.
And one of the things that you get the idea from that tournament resume, this team from Rhode Island was in the tournament last year. They're used to doing this. They're used to winning in the tournament.
Duval at 3. Bagley got a hand on us at 10th there. The 7th seeded Rhode Island Rams, second year in this NCAA tournament.
And keep in mind that for most of these Duke guys, it's their first year in the NCAA tournament. They did win the other night, but this is a new experience for them.
Russell missed a long shot. Carter has the ball. Here comes Grayson Allen.
Too quick of a shot there by Fats Russell. Carter, again, we talked about Coach K saying the hardest part for him was playing facing the basket. He has improved that, as you just saw, that 18-footer.
Carter started 4 of 4.
And that's one reason why they're so hard to guard.
Yeah.
9 points. He had 9 points in the opener on Thursday. Russell. Garrett.
Traveled.
And Allen right there defending. Watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness. or download the app today.
And that Duke zone's really giving Rhode Island some problems when you've got Grayson Allen at 6'5" and Duval at 6'3" with long arms. It's hard to find any openings in there.
The senior Allen. Outside Gary Trent Jr.
Well, that's all Grayson Allen there. The dribble penetration, collapsing the Rams defense and finding Trent.
Russell, who weighs 165 pounds.
They're not even looking in the inside of that zone.
Terrell, 3.
The Duke will take this all day long.
If you're just going to pass the ball around the outside and take a long 3, it's going to be a very long afternoon.
Grayson Allen, 3.
Maybe 4. Maybe 4. Grayson Allen with a 30-footer here. Fats Russell looked like he got him on the wrist. Grayson Allen here. Here's the dribble penetration. Look at all the blue jerseys around him. Finds Gary Trent Jr. for a 3. And this is just a walk-in 3 right here. Fats Russell a little bit late rotating over. You see Russell's hand on the wrist, elbow area of Allen.
Second foul called on Russell. Grayson Allen is a 85% free throw shooter.
And here we are suddenly one of those spots I was just talking about. Duke has made a run at you. Rhode Island has to stop the run by getting the ball inside, scoring it.
17-4 Duke run.
They need to play gritty basketball.
Matthews 3.
Okay, don't get it inside. Have Matthews hit a big shot.
Yeah, but if you're Coach K, I think you're going to play the percentages and you're going to live with that.
Duval. Tartarus screens. Under 10 to play in the first half. 2-seed Duke, 7-seed Rhode Island. The winner will go to the Sweet 16 in Omaha. Here the shot clock down at 9. Trent, Duval, Dalton defends, and that mid-range will drop.
Duval is really good going to the basket. He may be struggling with his three-point shot, but if he can get his head and shoulders by you and get into that lane, he's tough to stop.
Grayson Allen was talking about playing the zone yesterday. He says, it keeps us active. We're always talking. Keep our head on a swivel. That's the way you got to play it.
That's the only way you can play an effective zone.
Well, their length is going to always... Oh, what a pass. What a block shot there by Wendell Carter Jr. Oh, my goodness.
Duval finds a couple. Here comes Carter. Duval on top. Trent free. Got it! Duke has made their last 5. They pull up on top by 10.
12-9 from downtown now for Duke. We saw that in our first game with Villanova getting hot from downtown. Offensive foul there. Is that on Robinson?
Yes.
Here's the block shot by Carter.
Wow. We said you can take it hard to the basket and you make him call the foul, but it didn't. That was a great block.
Gary Trent Jr. back-to-back trays here.
Alabama watching. That's Petty on the right. There's Galen Smith
on the left, yes.
2 freshmen, part of the future of Alabama basketball. They were added. Oh, what a move. Spin move right there by Bagley down low. Another freshman who's made headlines here in Pittsburgh. That's his first shot.
And Dalton did the best he could to get down there and try to double team Bagley, but Bagley just split the double, used his size and quickness to get an easy deuce. This is the athleticism Coach K loves.
See him there in the highlighted area. He just keeps moving without the ball. Just like we just saw, as he gets the ball, they try to double team, but he's too quick to get around it. That's what Rhode Island tried to do. That's what Iona tried to do. So far, nobody's had any success, Reg.
Here's a floater inside by Dalton. Rebound by Bagley.
He can't penetrate that zone, gentlemen. It's just too difficult because of the length. And here's one dribble.
Oh, knocked away at that last second there by Stanford Robinson.
And did you see where Robinson caught it? At the top of the key. Quickness, one dribble all the way to the cup.
Under 8 in the first in Pittsburgh.
Outside shots on the perimeter or tough shots inside the lane. Those are generally the percentages that you get faced with.
Marvin Bagley at the free throw line, a 62% free throw shooter, had 22 and 7 against Iona on Thursday. Hands up there. Mom and Dad are here. Marvin, who's on the left, he played some college football at North Carolina A&T. There's his mom, Tracy, proud of their son. He's from the Phoenix area, where he played his junior year, and he was the Arizona High School Player of the Year. He played his senior year at Sierra Canyon in California. He was the California High School Player of the Year. And that equals #1 overall. When he came out, goes to Duke. Terrell, Barry.
So what you're saying is his game travels. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and he wears number 35. Danny Ferry was the last Blue Devil to wear number 35. And relinquished it to Marvin. Why not? Danny Ferry was terrific. Bagley in that same vein.
Oh, my goodness.
Grayson Allen puts in a triple. His second.
That was almost the same spot where he got the 4-point play from Fats Russell.
Right.
It's really hard for Barry to guard the screen and roll situations. He couldn't get out on Grayson Allen. You give Grayson Allen that much room, I don't care how far away he is, he's going to have a good look at it.
Rhode Island at 37%. Langevin inside. Carter there to meet him. Foul.
Step on
he did step out of bounds. You're right.
Step on the baseline. Look at the range here by Grayson Allen.
See, Barry goes out and tries to guard him and then gets back. And you just can't leave Grayson Allen.
Duke with 27 wins. They've won 20 or more. 22 consecutive seasons. They won at least 25 each of the past 11, along with Gonzaga in Kansas. Bagley. Player of the year in the conference with a drive inside.
Did you see how long those steps and strides were to get all the way to the cup? He faked like he was going inside and just spin off him and was at the rim.
And he knew people were coming to double team, and he handles the ball so quickly. So not only long strides, but quick dribbles.
Into Barry. Carter reaching in, draws the foul. You know, think of the great freshmen we've got inside this season alone. Here's one of them, Bagley.
Well, he sees the double team coming and just spins away from him. You know, they've been forced to go with a bigger lineup. They're playing Langevin and Barry at the same time, something they rarely do. But you have to do something to try to stop Carter and Bagley on the inside.
Andre Barry at the line. And that will drop in. He spent his freshman year at New Mexico Military Institute, a junior college. At the St. Andrews High School in Barrington, Rhode Island. Here he is, a senior. Had no starts the first 2 years at Rhode Island. He has started every game this season.
He's been a force in the middle for him, but he's a little bit overmatched in there today, but just about everybody is.
Duval. That's the first miss in 9 shots for Duke.
Let's see if now the Rams can get something in transition before this zone sets up.
Grayson Allen goes out there and chases Matthews.
Too late. Too late now.
Into Barry. Strong bounce pass and through the hands of Langevin, who was over there trying to set himself up.
Kevin, and one of the problems that Rhode Island is having here, they're throwing the ball to Barry. Barry only has 11 assists on the season, and that's in 33 games, so he's not a great passer in there.
I don't think he appreciates you diming him out like that, telling him he only has 5 assists on the season.
Pretty nicely out there to go get Grayson Allen. Duval trying the reverse. Good by Barry.
And another turnover by Barry. He thought Fats Russell was going to continue to run and not come back for the basketball.
And that's what he's telling Fats Russell, go, because and Barry's got the right idea. When Rhode Island gets the ball, I think they've got to get down the court quickly.
Just saw Dan Early over there on the sideline. He was a 1,000-point scorer at Seton Hall back in the early to mid-90s. Question was asked yesterday, did Duke ever recruit you? He said, well, they may have given us like a family discount. I went to Seton Hall and enjoyed my years there. Golden gets the ball. Oh, here comes Trent. He sees an open lane and he flies right down for 2. Gary Trent Jr., top 20 high school player. He was the Minnesota High School Player of the Year at Apple Valley High School in the Twin Cities.
Well, for Coach Hurley, all things that are a recipe for disaster. You're giving up second shots. You're turning the basketball over. You're not going to beat Duke in this length and size.
Matthews 3. Got it.
That's been the one offensive weapon that they've had. That's his third 3.
And he has 13 points now, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from downtown.
Well, they need some stops.
Allen will drive. DeVal. Bolden. Russell's pesky. Allen on the fly. Foul. It's on Rhode Island. And they're getting frustrated. And Dan Hurley is livid.
You can understand the frustration. They've worked so hard to get a stop. The ball goes up on the rim, and they call a rebounding foul, and they call it on Terrell.
Well, I see the reason why Coach Hurley is frustrated, because he's saying Bagley didn't even make an attempt to go really after that ball.
Or maybe the reason he didn't make an attempt to go after is because Terrell had him by the shorts.
Good point.
Marvin Bagley at the line, the first freshman to lead the ACC in scoring and rebounding in the same season.
Coach K was telling me at practice yesterday that he has changed his coaching style because of these 4 McDonald's All-Americans.
Interesting.
You know, before, when he had upperclassmen, he was a little bit more yelling, a little bit more demanding. Says you can't do that with these guys. These guys, their attention to detail is not there yet.
And their attention span probably is.
And their attention span, correct. And you don't really want to break them. A lot of coachable moments he said he's had this year.
There are not a lot of schools that can do the one and done. Kentucky does, Duke can. Inside, Langevin gets it as he shuffles off that baseline.
Well, finally dribble penetration, and they got the ball into the paint.
And not only that, Reggie, the dribble penetration gets the ball inside, and Langevin attacks the basket. You know, took his body right into the shot blocker to not give Bolden the opportunity to get his hand on the ball. Bolden was going to get the ball. He had to make contact with Langevin. The problem with Langevin is he's not a very good free throw shooter, but he does get credit for the bucket.
Rhode Island got up to number 14 in mid-February in the national rankings in the coaches poll, highest of the season and the highest in the history of the school. They ranked final 7 weeks of the regular season. Ended up number 25, Terrell. Duke began this season number 1 in college basketball. Began 11-0. Again. Oh, there's a nice swipe. Taken by Gouton.
Oh, nice little surge here for the Rams. And it's happened at the defensive end.
Exactly what the doctor ordered, and that's the way Rhode Island's got to play.
They're down to 12 now.
DeVal, 3, foul.
And that's the second time Russell has fouled a 3-point shooter.
He's got 3 of them.
And part of the game plan for Rhode Island was to allow DeVal to beat it from the distance. But Doughton with the steal as well as the finish.
First team all A-10. Danny hasn't scored. And Reggie, he is 0 of 4 from the field so far.
Well, credit that length in that Duke zone from allowing him, number 1, to get into the paint, but settling for those long 3-point shots, Dan.
Actually, the last 3-point shot he took, Reggie, while it was long, we've seen he can make really long 3-point shots. That was after the ball had moved around and was wide open. He needs to make that one.
DeVal's at the free throw line. He was the number 1 rated point guard. Freshman from Newcastle, Delaware, born in Queens. Played your high school or so at St. Benedict's in New Jersey.
Boy, makes
great player. Boy, he's a good player.
And also, too, that puts their best playmaker off the bench, Max Russell, back on the bench with those 3 fouls.
Garrett's taking his place. Good call there, Reg. Here's Doughton on top. Yeah, because Russell kind of ignited him on Thursday.
Absolutely. He was a difference maker, especially in that second half, his defense versus Trae Young.
E.C. Matthews with it. Here's Terrell, scoreless against Grayson Allen. Shot clock is at 4.
And he can't get around with that zone.
Matthews, he's in a straight jacket. That's a shot clock violation.
Reggie, Kevin, you were talking about Grayson Allen and his discussion of the zone, how he says it helps the players communicate. Watch this replay. The guys are pointing at one another. They're pointing at spots. They're talking to one another. It's a very interesting and effective defensive method. And there's an interesting and effective defensive play right there as Garrett takes the charge.
Well, that's Delaurier. That's what, number 2?
It is second on Delaurier.
Delaurier sets the screen.
And what did he do?
I guess Garrett really didn't take a charge. Garrett bounced off. There was an illegal screen. I guess the referee decided he was moving.
It is Zerg's 4th offensive foul.
And when you set a screen on a guy, when you're outside of his field of vision, you have to give him room to change direction. That may have been the call, too.
Doubt. With some doubt. And he finally goes to Matthews. Floater on the floor. Garrett's got it. New shot clock to work with. And his runner off that baseline, no. Delaurier with the rebound. We're approaching 2.5 to play in the half. Grayson Allen averages 16 a game. He had 16 against Iona with 9 rebounds. Rather, 4 rebounds and 9 points. There we go. Move here. Shot clock at 4. Grayson Allen, fade away. Rebound, holding inside by Garrett.
Nice defensive effort there by Rhode Island.
Good pass. Terrell. Broughton was cutting. Fade away from 14 and bury it.
He felt the presence of the big guy next to the basket, Kevin, so he took 2 or 3 dribbles out to the free throw line. Good under control play by Doubt.
Bagley. 2 of 2 so far. He'll put up a 3. Terrell. Duke is led by 17. Terrell scoreless so far. Bagley with the rebound.
He's pressing.
First team all-conference leading scorer. Heart and soul of this team. Timeout taken. Summit for most wins. Coach K didn't know that until someone in the media brought it up yesterday. They were, he said, sports persons of the year from Sports Illustrated years ago. Shared that honor. So they got to strike up a relationship at that time with her. Such great respect. Said you could have coached at any level, men or women. You could just hear the respect he had for the late Pat Summit, Tennessee women's basketball coach. There's a foul down low, and Langevin will pick it up. Mike Krzyzewski has been to 23 Sweet 16s. That's 5 more than any other coach in history. Trying to get there with a win over a tough Rhode Island team today. Jason with those long arm telescopic arms.
Just kills you. I mean, difficult enough to stop this offense, but you give them 2 and 3 looks at the basket.
Gary Trent missed that 3-point shot.
And dodged the bullet.
Well, now they got to get a score. I mean, they're not out of this game yet. It's a 13-point game.
E.C. Matthews, short. Duval is there.
I'm not sure that a contested 3, though, in that situation is what you were looking for.
But he's made 2 or 3 of those tonight. Duval, what a move in the left hand for Duval. Beautiful.
19 against Iona on Thursday.
There we go. There we go. And he still can't get a field goal to go. Wide open lay-in.
Huh? My
It's
goodness.
got to be frustrating, but maybe seeing the ball go through the net from these free throws can kind of get him going.
Drives to the basket, and he's not really looking up at the basket
No.
as he shoots the ball. He's looking down around his feet to try to avoid the charge, and therefore he's not going to be able to make that one.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, Greg and crew will have the latest news, first half analysis. They'll tell you how Villanova became the first team to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. All coming up on AT&T at the half. Terrell again.
There you go.
Here's an 82% free throw shooter. He's going to check out to go to Nicola Kelly, who is from Italy.
You just don't want to get the foul. You know this is going to be a defensive possession. Terrell may come right back in if they get the ball back.
Duval and Garrett. Matthews is on Trent. The Warriors. Duval, I'm open, let's fire. And he ties and buries the three.
Duval has been a huge factor in this game. Driving the ball to the basket, now making the three. What problems is he going to create?
Matthews trying to beat the buzzer, would not drop in a frustrating first half for Rhode Island. They were making those plays on Thursday. Duke has its biggest lead of the game as Dan Hurley. Talking about the experience of Rhode Island. It's time now to tap into that a little bit.
Well, they can chip away at this, have some timely threes, but they're going to have to get stops at the other end, which is challenging because Dana mentioned the length of Duke.
I think that's the key. Mindset has to be to chip away at it. Obviously, they can't give up Duke runs, particularly not a 28-7 run, but you're not going to get 17 back all at one time.
Terrell on the move, and that is a good sign for their leading scorer.
Of course, field goal for Terrell here. Jared Terrell, the leading scorer for Rhode Island, about 17 a game.
Wendell Carter into Andre Berry. Trent, one of the top three-point shooters in the ACC, but it didn't look that time like he had his aim. And here comes Carter, who cleaned it up, saved the ball, and finally puts it in for two.
It's got to be frustrating, Reggie. They played very good defense on the shot, but then they weren't able to claim the offensive rebound, or the defensive rebound.
Dalton's got 6, 3 of 5. 4 assists, Berry inside.
Carter may even gotten a piece of that.
Duval into that and right to the hole. Hands the other way. Robinson crashing into Bagley and a foul call.
Bagley in the restricted circle. Easy call there for the official. Right idea, but he needed to be a few steps out.
Now, this is what Rhode Island likes to do. They like to get out and go. And they're a team, Kevin, that's built on extra possessions. During the season, they got 81 more offensive rebounds than their opponents. They forced 172 more turnovers than they committed. That's 253 extra possessions. They need to get those.
But playing in the Atlantic 10, they were playing against teams that were their height.
It's a tradition unlike any other, and with all the excitement of the golf world right there, the stage is set for a spectacular Masters. Once again this year on CBS.
And the Rhode Island trademark is in-your-face defense, and they've really got to tighten it up.
Duval, Jason Allen, knocked away from behind. That's foul by Stanford Robinson. He's got 3.
I almost didn't see Stanford Robinson behind Marvin Bagley as he was posting up. That's the size difference that he's going against.
Well, Bagley is 6'11", weighs 235 pounds.
Look at this. Look at that. Come on.
That's amazing.
Can't do anything with that. Robinson's 6'4", weighs barely 200.
Biggest Duke lead right now. Bagley's got 10 with 7 rebounds. Terrell, 3. Robinson tries to save it. It's loose. Jason Allen comes up with it. Duval, touch pass. Bagley across the lane and down. Timeout, Rhode Island. Bagley is some kind of player. Knows what's with you.
I like the enthusiasm there of the Rams fan here. Still encouraging, trying to get these guys to, I said this on Thursday, unless they all grew 3 or 4 inches overnight, it was going to be a very difficult challenge for Rhode Island.
Dalton takes it in with a floater. Berry is in there to gobble it up. Dalton tries to get it. Out of bounds it goes. Duval goes crashing into the desk of Duke.
Well, the bad news is you're down by 20 points. The good news is you have 17 minutes and 43 seconds to do anything about it. But again, you see the Duke size on the interior is just something that Rhode Island is having a hard time dealing with.
Floater inside by Matthews. And they'll dig for it down low. Comes up to Matthews. Knocked away by Wendell Carter. Matthews has it again. Into Bagley. Off to Terrell. Looking inside. Knocked away. It's rolling. It's a 3-on-1. Allen to Bagley. Whoa!
The length defensively at one end, causing all the deflections and the steal and the turnover. And then that elite runner that Coach K calls Bagley, finishing at the other end.
Doughton off the glass for the deuce.
Reggie, to be an elite anything, you have to play hard. And Bagley just gets up and down the court. He never stops.
Quick jumper, quick finisher, leaper. Here's the steal by Duke, and it's off to the races. Allen, 3-on-1. Hey, get it to your big man.
Bagley was standing down on the baseline and took off. He was behind everybody else when that play started, and yet he beat everybody down the court.
Will be fantastic at the next level because of that.
Well, keep in mind that he reclassified from high school. Conceivably, he could be a high school senior this year.
Oh, that's scary.
Carter. Bagley. Foul.
That is scary that he could still be in high school.
Well, and I was talking with Mike Krzyzewski yesterday, and I said to him, yeah, the amazing thing is he should still really be in high school. And Mike Krzyzewski said to me, no, he should be in the NBA.
That was a great line. Bagley 62% from the stripe. And a big 33-point game against Notre Dame in the ACC semifinal. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com.
So basically what you're saying is Coach K is in favor of high school kids, going straight to the pros from the
Coach K is in favor of Marvin Bagley doing whatever Marvin Bagley wants to do.
All right.
I cannot speak for Coach K on other issues.
Matthews.
It's been a rough night for Barry. God bless him. He's been fantastic for the Rams, but I mean, that was a point-blank pass right there, and just fumbled it out of bounds.
He's trying to go quickly because he's worried about the size. And it's
yes.
Keep saying the size.
Grayson Allen. Bagley with the long reach. Outside Duval. One freshman to another freshman to another freshman. This is Carter.
Okay, what are you supposed to do? You make Bagley pass the ball outside. You drop off Duval. You give him the opportunity to shoot the three. He passes up. He throws it to the other big guy, and they still score.
That's why Coach K told me yesterday, we can play and beat anyone, especially with athleticism, our size, but sometimes youth can trip us up.
Duke has been dominated. How many times has that been said? Bagley, sledgehammer. All a part of the Devils on top. Highest remaining number one seed, Villanova winning. They've made 31 threes. You see that Big Ten record, 4-0 so far. Michigan playing well. So is Purdue. Purdue, and we heard this from Allie LaForest at halftime, they're going to see if a brace fit on the fractured elbow of Isaac Haas will be cleared so that he can play. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. The other thing that's amazing is Syracuse is on into the round of 32. So once again, team coming out of the first floor gets into the round of 32.
And it's so difficult to game plan for Syracuse. Very much like this Duke's team zone. You don't see it very often. And when you have the length that both of these two programs have, it's very difficult in a tournament atmosphere to game plan for them.
Duval misses the three. Rebound collected by E.C. Matthews. Changing gear down the lane and to the hole. Langevin got it. Inside is Robinson. With Duke.
And that, you can see the size at the basket there. You just can't get it up on the goal. But speaking of that zone, Jim Boeheim worked with Mike Krzyzewski for all those years with USA Basketball. My guess is they talked about that zone a little bit.
The Laurier checks in. Trent is out. Laurier 6'10". Wendell Carter 6'10". Bagley 6'11".
Well, Grayson Allen is 6'5".
He's 6'5".
And Duval is 6'3", and he's got really long arms.
Wow. Robinson the drive. Yeah, the shove and a foul. It's on Duke. Blue Devils winning the championship back in 2015.
And here comes some more size. Bolden.
Yeah, Marquise Bolden.
Marquise Bolden comes in for Carter.
Former Dallas High School Player of the Year.
Go figure.
Soto High School.
Yeah, Bolden, 6'11", about 246 pounds.
Goodness. Robinson tries to sit and sag his way in.
That's how you do it. I mean, sometimes you just got to put your head down and try to split and get around these guards out front.
Rhode Island coming off their first regular season outright A-10 title. Dan Hurley, Coach of the Year in the conference. Terrell Robinson. Matthews will make a move, and down the lane he goes.
Size of Bolden changed that shot.
We talked about that a couple times on how it's altered. Kick.
This is what Rhode Island's looking at. Look at all the hands, the active bodies, and then the contest at the end by Bolden.
Mike Krzyzewski said yesterday it's not about size, it's about lateral movement and how that size can enhance that.
It really helps when your guys who can move really well laterally are 6'11", and the other guys who can move well laterally are 6'5". So he's got guys who both have height and lateral movement.
Grayson Allen, 3.
Kind of like how he started this game. You know, when Coach K was talking about his 3 keys, this second one was talk. He meant that at the defensive end in this zone. And we've been talking about the length and the size. You know, when they can communicate, look at this. Hands on the ball, deflections, making it very difficult.
Terrell triple.
And I'm sure he meant his talking to the referee, too, Reggie.
He said it, not me.
See, there he is now. He's talking to the referee. That's one of the keys to the game.
I was telling us yesterday about, he said, the difference between major conference schools and mid-major, that's gone. He says, I don't believe in it. He said it's leveling itself off. He said, you look at a team like Rhode Island with all that experience, they know the system so well, they'll threat to anybody.
The reason why it's leveling off is because of the one-and-done type situations. The bigger schools, they get the blue chip guys, they're playing 1 year and moving on. Whereas the mid-major teams, they get these guys for 3 or 4 years. You can develop a chemistry, win 91 games together.
Good pass. Bolden, Duval.
Look at that. Great hands down low.
The other way to come with Matthews. Grayson Allen sideswipes him.
And what you saw right there was the way Rhode Island has played basketball all year long. Nice job coming in, stealing the ball, and then you get out and go. And this is the way the Rams want to play. You get out and you get down on the other end. That's what we were saying. They create extra possessions, and when they create extra possessions, that creates opportunity.
So here at the free throw line is E.C. Matthews. He played at Romulus High School in Detroit. He played for Coach Nate Oates, and he played with Wes Clark. Wes Clark now plays for Coach Oates at the University of Buffalo. And they beat Arizona. They got Kentucky tomorrow. And Wes Clark in that game against Arizona, 25 points. So see, it's all connected some way in college basketball. From high schools.
6 degrees, all these teams here in the tournament.
Dana, what do you have?
Guys, I asked Coach about E.C. Matthews yesterday, and he actually got very emotional. I asked him about all those shots that he puts up, and he said he's just one of those guys, I'm praying that it goes in for this kid. He's been through a lot. His father left when he was young. His mother's been sick, and what Hurley's loved most is that he's been able to fill that father figure role for him. A really special kid for him. They're all special, he said, but I love seeing them mature the way he has.
Dana, thank you as they go inside. Laurier outside. Bagley, 3. That's right. He's that big, and he can hit that 3 with such grace and ease. Can't even believe that he is what he is at 19.
Scary. Scary to think that he could have been playing high school basketball this year.
Right.
And he's doing this on the big stage.
Langevin inside for 2.
That was a good, tough move. But those are the kind of shots that the Rams have been getting on the inside. You're not going to shoot a high percentage when those are the kinds of shots that you have to take.
Points in the paint, Duke. 26-14 over Rhode Island. 10-0 this half. So they're getting high percentage shots. Approaching 8 minutes gone here in the second half. And Bagley was trying to work his way in. They say it is off of Rhode Island.
Well, we're going to have a discussion about that.
They're going to change it.
Good officiating right there.
I think Tony Chiazza is the one who had a pretty good view of it. Now Mike's going, wait a minute. He's 71, but he coaches like he's 31, doesn't he? He's such vigor
and up 25 and still as emotional as he was down 5.
Garrett with a 3. Rebound by Gary Trent. Down goes Duval.
And that's number 4 on Fats Russell.
Well, we're in the tournament, and emotion never leaves you, whether you're leading by 25 or whatever. It's a good way to put it. Hovering over their 28th win of the season, looking to get to the Sweet 16. Under Mike Krzyzewski, it would be the 24th Sweet 16. He's won 92 NCAA tournament games, number 1 all time. Great feed. Delorier will not drop.
And guys, I have to tell you, we've had the opportunity to watch Villanova play twice here, and Duke play twice here. These two teams, they've both put on shows each game that they've played.
Both are clicking, making shots. Obviously, they've made adjustments, and they continue to hit their stride. And especially with Virginia going out last night, it's an opportunity.
Here's Delorier at the free throw line, 59%er. His mom played college basketball at Rutgers. In fact, she played an A-10 tournament at Rutgers and was the MVP. That was before Rutgers certainly joined the Big Ten.
Well, the interesting thing about both of those teams, Duke and Villanova, Reggie, you hit upon it. They seem to be getting better. Villanova, Jay Wright was telling us he's really pleased with the way they're improving on defense. This Duke team, the more they play this zone, the better they are in its execution.
Shot clock at 8. Russell, lot of arms, lot of length, taken away. Trent, Duval. Finally, Bagley tries to take it in. It's off his knee and out of bounds.
I thought he was going to kick it into the basket. He's done everything else.
One of the rare mistakes by Bagley.
But again,
last 2 days.
He's down the court. He's one of the first guys down the court. As you said, Kevin, Mike Krzyzewski's talking about how it's all lateral movement. When you're 6'11", 235-pound guy can move laterally and up and down the way he can. That's a pretty big advantage.
Doughton, Terrell, and 2.
On the way to penetrate that zone. Nice job there by Doughton. Kind of split those 2 guards up top for Duke.
I think the kind of leader Grayson Allen has had to be on this young team, starting the 4 freshmen and him being the senior that is leading Trent inside. Bagley will clean it up and put it in. Off balance, but not shaken.
And easily could have gotten an and one on that as well. A lot of contract and another turnover here by the Rams.
And that kid never turns it over. Down 3, Trent, no. And it's a rebound by Matthews. Taking it himself. Little Euro step in there, picked up by Allen, and that's 2 on the goaltend. You can't teach speed until now. Bleacher Report. Get alerts for your teams and scores before anyone else. Download the app now.
Okay, that was a pretty good block there, Dan.
Well, Mike Krzyzewski certainly thinks so. And again, Reggie, you said one of their keys to the game was talking, and he's doing a lot of that recently. Kevin, you were making the point about Grayson Allen and the leadership role he's had to assume with this team. And I think one of the reasons why Duke is getting better is Grayson Allen has finally figured out his role. He has figured out on the father, he's figured out how he can get everybody else involved, but at the same time, how he can get his points when he needs to get his points. And I think that's one of the reasons why you've seen such growth in this Duke team and why I think they're so dangerous in this tournament.
Dana?
Guys, Grayson actually talked about how Quinn Cook was one of the former players who helped him learn about leadership, that when he was a freshman, he really sort of stuck with him, talked to him every day, got him out of his comfort zone, and now when he's been forced to become more of a leader, the challenges he faces, he knows how to go about it. He prepares for them every day, kind of checks in on everyone, makes sure that they're okay, not just on the court, but away from the game as well.
We had that terrific 16-point performance against Wisconsin in the national championship game. Came out of no place, really, to be igniter for Duke and lead them to that win. It was a very good Badger team. Matthews. DeLaurier is on the side trying to hem him in, and the moves of Matthews get him free and force a challenge there, and DeLaurier will pick up the foul.
DeLaurier committed the foul, but the interesting thing there was Duke was trying to pressure. Rhode Island beat the pressure. Matthews, for just an instant, had the opportunity for an open shot, but DeLaurier got there so quickly he couldn't squeeze the trigger. And that's the other thing. We're talking about their length. Well, they can move, too.
But haven't we seen that all afternoon?
Yes.
The hesitation by Rhode Island and not being great decision makers versus the zone.
Down outside, Russell 3.
Finally, Russell off the bench. I believe his first points of the afternoon.
One of the members of the media yesterday asked Mike Krzyzewski about the Duke brand, and if the Duke brand automatically gives you a lead into a game, whoever you face. And Mike says, I don't know, these kids play so much AAU and all around the country. Trevor the 3 nails that one. What do you think, Dan? You cover the ACC quite a bit.
I'm not sure that the Duke brand gives them any advantage. You know, when they go on the road, they've got this giant bullseye on all their backs. But I also think that toughens you up. You learn that every time you go out, that everybody's going to give you their best effort, so you're not surprised when you get into a tournament like this and you see somebody's best effort, because that's what you've had all year long.
I think when you play for Duke, for Carolina, for Kansas, Kentucky, especially these young players and these, McDonald's All-Americans, you grow up from boys to men because of that.
DeLaurier, good feet on top from Carter.
But all those programs I mentioned, the one thing that they have in common, Hall of Fame coaches. Coach Cal and obviously Roy Williams. We talked about Coach K.
8 to play.
Again, this is a Duke team that's a little scary as I look at them, because it's sort of like they've gone through their coursework in basketball during the season, and now it's time for the final exam, and looks to me like they've learned their lessons pretty well.
Well, it's only going to get tougher as they continue to move on. Talent level is going to rise. It's one thing to go against Rhode Island, the A-10 champs, but they don't have the size, nor do they have the pedigree, as Russell hits back-to-back threes here for Rhode Island.
Winner of this one will take on the winner of Syracuse, Michigan State. As we're about ready to have our second Sweet 16 team punch their ticket and move on to Omaha.
And Duke, of course, has faced both of those two teams during the regular season, and they've come out the victors.
Offensive foul. It's on Allen. This is the big dance. The Rooney family.
St. Patrick's Day Parade is actually dedicated to Dan Rooney.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
There was a tribute to Dan Rooney yesterday, but I'm telling you, Kevin, the people around here are serious about their St. Patrick's Day.
They're serious about beginning it early on St. Patrick's Day.
we had to change our route to get here a little bit early.
It's all good. Doughton on the fly. Doughton couldn't get it. Carter does.
Well, they don't dye their rivers green like they do in Chicago, because that's because the rivers are too big and they flow too fast. It would all end up in Kentucky before you know it.
Knocked away by Doughton. 6.5 to go.
But the people of Pittsburgh claim that theirs is the second largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the country.
We talked about the seniors against the freshmen, the experience against the guys going through this tournament for the first time, and youth has played a big role. Look at Allen.
Unselfish play, because Allen had a wide open layup, and that's just rewarding your big men. That thing will pay off the longer these Blue Devils continue to move on. Steal. Another steal by Allen.
Well, he doesn't stop. I have a feeling he practices the way he plays.
Got Gary Trent Jr. with 3 steals. Grayson Allen with 2 steals. They're just so active.
Gary looks like his dad, doesn't he, Rick?
He's built like him, right?
Yes, he sure is. Strong.
His dad couldn't shoot like him,
Couldn't
though.
shoot the 3. He's got the second best ACC three-point percentage. Trent does as Laurier tries to go inside. This is, by the way, the first time since 2009 that all 5 Duke starters in a tournament game had scored in double figures. 13 for Carter, 22 for Bankley, DeVal 11, Trent 14, Allen with 10. Lowry at the line, 59% free throw shooter. Under 6 to play here in the second half. Monday, Kevin James and Leah Remini deliver the laughs on an all-new Kevin Can Wait. Monday here on CBS. Oh, we have a chance. Our crew, led by our producer Ken Mack and our director Mike Arnold, have just done a marvelous job all day Thursday. 12 hours of basketball, like all of our CBS and Turner crews all over the country. But when you watch these men and women from Turner and CBS perform all these tasks that you folks never get to see their names or see their faces, hear their voices, but we do. Yes, that's respect for them. There's a drive inside. They get the scoop
there by E.C. Matthews. Yep. Almost hanging in the air there to be able to finish, going to his strong hand, his left hand. And that's number 5 for Mr. Fats Russell.
Fats Russell's going to go. That's number 5 on him, as Red said, and he is fouled out. He was such a catalyst on Thursday. He was a big performer against Oklahoma.
He was a game changer.
Yes, he was.
Especially in that second half. His pressure on Trae Young, even though Trae Young got kind of going a little bit in that second half.
This kid he's a decorated kid. He won the Philadelphia Public League title, the city title. Look at the hug right there. Coach and player. He's a freshman. He was a 4A state champion. He was a finalist for Mr. Basketball in Pennsylvania. He's only 5'10". He is a player that will be around for a while.
Yeah, but what's great about it is he got a chance up close and personal to see how Terrell, Doughton, Robinson, that senior leadership, and this is just a small taste of success for Fats.
You know, Dan Hurley, he was brought up in the coaching profession. We know his dad, Bob Hurley, was the second high school coach ever to go into the Naismith Hall of Fame. There he is. He had 2 sons coaching in this tournament. One at Arizona State, one here in Pittsburgh with Rhode Island. And Dan was actually an assistant for 1 year for his dad in high school. Krzyzewski talks about going in that family room, and 3 points out won't go. Going to that Hurley family room and trying to sell the dad, who's this legendary coach, on why his son, who's the top point guard in the country, Bobby, should come down to Durham. And Dan said he would watch the interaction between Dad and Coach K and Bobby. It was a fascinating time for the family.
Well, Kevin, and think about this. The Mike Krzyzewski that was walking into that living room is not the legendary Mike Krzyzewski.
Right, exactly.
It's the Mike Krzyzewski
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Trying to sell himself.
You know, before the mists of legend enshrouded him. So he was just regular Mike Krzyzewski.
And believe me, as heavily recruited as Dan was, Bobby was probably twice as heavily recruited. And Mike knew that to get a guy like him, and he said he wanted him probably as much as any recruit he's ever gone after. And they got him, and of course the rest is history. The Final Four is the championships.
Well, it helped to have Leitner there as well.
It did.
I mean, it was a perfect storm.
They won 2 then at 91 and 92. Robinson losing his footing.
The coaches are obviously a very key component in this, but I don't care how good a coach you are, you're not going to win unless you have players.
Terrell, 3. This will be his final college game, the senior, Jared Terrell.
This Rhode Island Rams fan base has been fantastic starting on Wednesday for the practices. Obviously in that big win against Oklahoma and tonight. So when this comes to an end, I'm sure they're going to give these seniors class that won 91 games for them.
Most ever.
The most ever. A huge applause here.
Well, it was funny. You're talking about the fan base, and Dan Hurley referenced that yesterday when I asked him what was going through his mind there when Stanford Robinson on Thursday missed the shot that could have won the game in regulation time. And he said he was really worried until he saw all his guys laughing and enjoying themselves. And he said, and he thought to himself, well, our fan base is so good. Our home games are so loud and so exciting in terms of our fan that our kids just enjoy playing. Right. He said, so they're used to atmospheres, loud, impressive atmospheres like we've had in here in this Pittsburgh site the entire time we've been here. And so he's crediting his players, but also crediting his fan base. They've really adopted this Rhode Island team.
4 straight winning seasons for Dan Hurley. 6th year.
Slowly but surely, Coach K is going to start infiltrating his bench to get some of these guys, Bagley, Grayson Allen, out of the ball game.
Well, one of the things to keep in mind, Kevin, you were talking about all Duke's guys scoring in double figures in an NCAA tournament game. Duke gets about 85% of their offense from their starters. And so that's something they haven't had to deal with in this tournament yet is foul trouble. What's going to happen if those guys can't play?
4 to play. Eastern TNT is the Infinity NCAA tip-off, followed by number 11 Loyola Chicago against number 3 Tennessee. 7:10 Eastern TBS doubleheader. Seton Hall and top seed Kansas. Big day of basketball. Started here early. Continuing with Duke, and Kentucky's next. Here on CBS.
How about the guys from Buffalo? Their reward for beating Arizona is now they get to play Kentucky.
The graceful Jack White out of Australia.
Well, when you're that low,
in for 2.
When you're that low of a seed, you're going to play a lot of good teams on your way if you upset a team.
Well, as we have discovered, even as you're a very high seed, you play a good team.
Yeah. O'Connell is in. Bolden is in. White is trying for that rebound. He just scored, and it was off the fingertips of White. Rhode Island's ball. David Robinson's son's going to check in. Right there, Justin Robinson. Coming in also Jordan Goldwire. There goes DeVal. There goes Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen won a state championship down in Jacksonville. Top 40 recruit. Had that great early game in his career in the Final Four to win it for Duke over the Badgers.
And you want to know how important Grayson Allen is to this team? That's the first time he's been out of the game.
Wow. Well said. Good point. Here. And grabbed by Marquise Bolden. Here we are. Marquise Bolden is probably the 9th guy. Here is the player of the year in Dallas. State 6A champion. Is White. Given the Goldwire.
Well, Kevin, you're right about Bolden. When he came in, he was considered to be a surefire one and done.
Oh, right.
Everybody was talking about what a great player he was, but he's dealt with injury issues his entire career.
Here he goes. Too late on the jam.
And the interesting thing is, we're talking about this Duke team getting better and better. Well, Bolden is a guy who is sort of growing into that role as like the extra big guy. He had some problems, some injury problems earlier this year, and he's finally healthy.
And Duke is once again loaded for next year. Zion Williams is coming in. R.J. Barrett, who is supposed to be the player of the year. Trey, the younger point guard, Jones. Trey Jones, who brother Clay Tyus won the championship a few years ago with Okafor. So they are loaded. And once again,
Bolden will spin. Barry is there. Trevor. Another player in now for Duke is Alex O'Connell. He's a freshman from Roswell, Georgia. His dad played at Duke. There he is. His dad played at Duke. David, from 73 to 76. And Alex was the Atlanta high school player. 7A.
They got all the players of the years, McDonald's All-Americans.
That's amazing. Garrett missed the first and was tapped in off the side. Garrett.
Hard to play playing time for these guys.
Well, then, you know, that's
I mean,
the
if
thing.
O'Connell would have went to Rhode Island, he would have been a superstar, right?
Well, that's the decision.
Yeah.
That's the rub, right? That's the decision you made. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's tough. Here's O'Connell. Off of Terrell, 1:36 to go. So Duke will get their 28th win of the season. Remember last year in this round, they lost to South Carolina by 7. They began the season as a preseason #1. O'Connell across the lane, stripped to the ball inside by Matthews. Garrett. You see Matthews outside, picked up by Robinson. A lot of arms, a lot of legs inside that lane. Not a lot of breathing space. Foul goes on Marquise Bolden of Duke.
And that's what we've seen for Duke opponents in both of the games, both on Thursday and today. There's not a lot of breathing space. There's not a lot of room.
Well, if you're Coach Hurley, you've got to be proud of your guys. The battle, the effort, not only to be the outright champions of the A-10, but that huge overtime when they could have won in regulation and never want that up. Well, Trae Young's going to take over in overtime, continue to beat Oklahoma when they were just outsized versus Duke.
Well, we always talk about the winners in this tournament, and one of the things about this tournament, for one team in each game, it comes to a jarring end, and almost all of those teams have had fantastic seasons. So you have to hope that after the loss, after the pain of the loss wears off, that you have some perspective about it and understand what a great year you've had. And I'm sure that will be the case at Rhode Island. Feels bad now, but they've had a great season.
You saw Russell right there with his towel to his mouth. That's the kid who's going to be a name to remember on this Atlantic 10 champion. That's a goal line 3. And that is his 5th 3 of the season. These are the guys that those All-Americans over there play against in practice. And the bond that's developed, the closeness they have.
Look at the reaction over there.
Exactly. Matthews on the run. We're going to take out the seniors right now. Timeout taken. There's a travel on the play, and the seniors are going to leave. Robinson is going to walk off.
This is beautiful to see right here.
Terrell, who finishes as the 7th all-time leading scorer in Rhode Island basketball history.
This is what it's all about right here. Now, this is the love of the game right here. When people talk about this, and with your head coach, Dan Hurley, enjoy it.
They made the program. They gave it strength. They gave the foundation. Look at that. That says it all.
Respect. Much respect.
Garrett is a senior from Milwaukee. He was the last kid that Hurley was hugging there. Duke just run out the clock. Mike Krzyzewski back in Pittsburgh. He says, I like coming to Pittsburgh. One of the reasons why my mom was born close to Pittsburgh. Robinson with the miss. Picked up by Danica. Here's a sophomore, Doughton, who starts with all these seniors on the run. His shot no good. And Duke is going to the Sweet 16. Again. 24th time for Mike Krzyzewski.